Guys, today I was going to do my final video in my olfactory groups, a series of videos that I've done, but I decided to do a different video because of what's going on in the world and the fact that some of the very small businesses out there that sell perfumes are struggling currently, especially the one that I'm talking about today, ZGO Perfumery here in San Francisco, and it's the premier destination for perfume shopping when you come to San Francisco. We've all been closed for the last month and a lot of these businesses are struggling. Probably you guys in your own towns have this situation as well. But today I'm going to talk to you about my 5 favorite brands that they carry in their store, and then also mention about this new brand, or talk about this new brand called Abel. But they're not necessarily really new, but it's a newish house for me, and they have a fragrance called Grey Labdanum, which I'm going to talk to you about. And those of you that have been following me should know what Labdanum is, and that's what this fragrance is all about. Also, we have a discount code that I'm going to tell you about that will save you 20% off if you are looking to shop for perfumes at their store. And then last but not least, we have one discovery kit to give away of Abel or Abel fragrances to one subscriber of this channel from the USA. So if you want to find out about all this stuff, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. That's right, today I'm talking about my 5 favorite brands that are carried at ZGO Perfumery, a local perfume shop here in San Francisco. And as I said, it's the premier perfume destination when you come to San Francisco, hopefully after this pandemic is over. And there you can find lots of different brands, a lot of great niche houses, no designers. They also have soaps and candles and teas and you name it, some awesome stuff. And I have videos on the channel, also a tour video as well of ZGO Perfumery that are shot there, so you can go watch those. But we're going to cover all this stuff coming right up. But if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed to the channel, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So yeah, a lot of the small businesses out there are struggling, and I wanted to do this to help out ZGO Perfumery and also let you know about the store if you don't know them. They do ship all over the USA, and they have a perfume discount code that they've set up for me for this channel that will run until the end of May. So if you are on the hunt for perfumes and you like any of the fragrances that I talked to you about today or anything else that you see in their store, you can use the code PerfumeGuy20. That will save you 20% off of your perfume purchases. Now the only catch is it's not on certain brands. You can't use the discount on Diptyque, Byredo, Trudon, Madeleine, and Comme des Garçons, but everything else you can. So please go use that discount. And I'm going to start off with talking to you about Abel and this discovery kit that Euro Perfumes is doing a giveaway of. And I'm going to tell you about Grey Labdanum, which is a pretty awesome Labdanum Patchouli crossover fragrance. But the discovery kit includes fragrances from this brand. It's an all natural, all 100% natural perfumes, no synthetic, nothing in these perfumes from what I've read. And the fragrances are Grey Labdanum, of course, white vetiver, golden neroli, red sandalwood or red santal, cobalt amber, and pink iris. Those are the different fragrances from this brand, and you can use that discount code for this house as well, among the ones I'm going to talk to you about today and some others from their store. But Abel's Grey Labdanum, this one right here, is really an awesome Labdanum. Now Labdanum, if you guys have been following me, as I said, if you watch my video with Dana discussing resins and balsams, this is a resin balsam note. It's a flower, and they create this gummy, pasty residue that they extract from the flower and the stems. I believe it's the flowers, don't quote me on that, but it's created from that flower. It's the rock rose, and it's Labdanum, Cistus Labdanum, and it's basically to create the amber accord. So if you like the smell of amber fragrances, it comes from Labdanum, but they also add additional notes to create this accord, such as vanilla, benzoin, and maybe some citruses and things like that, or other resins. But Abel has a fragrance called Grey Labdanum, and as soon as I smelled it, I was really loving it. It's a very, very green Labdanum. So you have lots of amber touches in here, but then you also have patchouli. The patchouli is pretty prominent. It's also very earthy, very like vegetal almost. Like you're entering into like vegetation, and you're smelling the vegetation, earth, and amber and things like that. So when you smell the rock rose or the plant that the labdanum comes from, it does really smell like this. I mean, I've smelled it many times. I've seen the flower and the plant on my hikes, and you can kind of like grab it, and when you grab it, it's very sticky. Like the plant is sticky. It'll leave a kind of a residue behind. So that smell is here, but it's much more concentrated and much more intensified. If you're curious to learn more about labdanum, do definitely check out my video on balsams and resins to learn more about labdanum. But this is a great fragrance because the way it smells. Lots of patchouli and lots of labdanum. A little citrus is in the background, but wonderful. So I'm very, very curious to discover this house a little more, and that's why I wanted to include them as an honorable mention. But then we do have one discovery kit to give away. As I said, I'll tell you how to participate at the end of the video. Now with the top 5, I'm going to name 5 brands, and I'm going to rank them in my favorite. Number 1 being my favorite, of course, and number 5 being the least favorite. But again, these brands are all favorites of mine, so I don't know if I can really rank them. They have fragrances here and there, but I had a hard time putting this list together, so we're going to get started. The first brand I'm going to speak to you about is Ormonde JAYNE, and this is one of the brands that ZGO Perfumery carries. And so the fragrances that are under this brand are many. And I've reviewed 4 fragrances under this brand on the channel. So if you're curious to learn more about Ormonde JAYNE, you can always look up the fragrances. But Ormonde Man is a wonderful aromatic, spicy concoction that I really, really love. And TOLU is an amber with TOLU balsam, this one right here. And if you like amber fragrances and you don't like the thickness and the heaviness and density of, like, you know, real amber fragrances, and you like it light, TOLU would be one for you to try. In fact, the whole house of Ormonde JAYNE, all the fragrances seem lighter. They don't weigh down on you. So if you like wearing fragrances and you don't want heavy fragrances, this is the brand to check into. Like even their fragrance Ambre Royale is a very aromatic and spicy, very, very cologne-y kind of an amber. It's really, really awesome. It's like an amber for the amber hater, if that makes sense to you guys. So this one is pretty phenomenal. I mean, the entire collection, I feel like they're very, very classy. There's no intensity with the fragrances. They're not loud. You can't use the beast mode word for these fragrances. Absolutely not. It wouldn't make sense. But sophisticated, classy, very, very amazing, you know, British styled fragrances. So anyway, Ormonde JAYNE is my 5th favorite house. And again, I had a hard time putting this ranking together, but then again, you might put it differently. But then Ormonde JAYNE is awesome, so don't get me wrong. I'm not kind of like dissing these brands. It's just really hard to rank them. Anyway, moving on. MONTALE is another house that ZGO Perfumery carries. And of course, I'm always going to say Intense Cafe when I mention MONTALE because it is my favorite MONTALE fragrance. It just absolutely works for me. And I get many, many compliments. And I've turned this fragrance on to many, many people, mostly women, who really love the way this smells. And this is about roses and milky coffee and things like that. So it is a wonderful gourmand. But when I mention MONTALE, I cannot forget Black Oud. Black Oud is awesome. It's a great, great, really, really Middle Eastern or Arabic style rose and patchouli and things like that. There's a little bit of oud in here as well. Very, very long lasting, but smells great. Musky, rose, all that good stuff come to mind. So Black Oud, I think, will never go out of style from MONTALE. 2 roses from MONTALE. This one does not have rose, but it does have one of the notes from the second fragrance, Patchouli and Vetiver. This is a Vetiver Patchouli from MONTALE, one of the latter fragrances. And it's a green patchouli, it's a vetiver patchouli, so it's like a nice balance of vetiver and patchouli together. It's a wonderful release. It smells great, it lasts a long time. And that's the thing, it's like MONTALE is the anti-Ormonde JAYNE. These are what I would consider beast mode. They're like intense, they're heavy, they last a long time, and it's big experience, whereas the Ormonde JAYNE fragrances are more reserved experiences, if that makes sense. We're moving on, and this is a quirky house to put here, but I really like this house, and I've grown to love this house more and more. And the house I'm talking about is ETAT Libre d'Orange, and we're going to start off with Fat Electrician. Now, their fragrances are not MONTALE, they're not Ormonde JAYNE, they're their own unique, quirky concoctions, and I like what they do with fragrances, especially with something like this, Fat Electrician. Great name, funny name, quirky name. It's a Vetiver, and I love Vetiver. You guys know that. Vetiver is awesome. And here they've got like creamy, whipped, chestnutty kind of an accord thrown in to really kind of like throw you a curveball with the notes, because I don't usually wear fragrances with Vetiver that have gourmand notes, if that makes sense. So this is a very, very quirky concoction. And so this is my third favorite brand from ZGO. Another one that I should definitely point out is Tom of Finland. Here we have a slightly gourmand leather fragrance. Again, very, very quirky. It smells like it's like a suede leather. There's buttery qualities in there, but then there's like fruity undertones with the buttery qualities. So it's like a gourmand leather, and it's really, really pleasant to wear. Tom of Finland is awesome. In fact, I have reviews of these fragrances. Go check them out. And last but not least, like this. It's Tilda Swinton like this, but the brands, each of these brands that I'm talking about today, they have lots of different fragrances. You can just search these brands on my channel. You'll find reviews for all these fragrances that I'm talking about. And like this is a very unique concoction with pumpkin, ginger, neroli, immortelle. Wonderful, wonderful concoction. This screams fall, but for me it's not like cold fall. It's more like, you know, warmish fall. And I featured it in an Immortelle fragrances video. So if you like the idea of Immortelle, definitely check that out. So that's another brand. Number 2 brand at ZGO Perfumery is the latest brand that they acquired or are selling. It's XERJOFF, and this is NAXOS. And NAXOS is a wonderful and gourmandish kind of a tobacco with lavender. It's very aromatic, and a lot of people compare this to Pure Havana. I can see that, but it's a unique concoction on its own. I think the lavender here is very prominent, and in Pure Havana I don't experience the lavender much. But one of their best offerings from XERJOFF, and it's thankfully not one of the more expensive ones too. I really like the way this wears on me. So that's Naxos. This next one is Kobe, which I just reviewed recently. Go check out my review. And this is all about orange blossom, neroli, and orangey kind of notes. Slightly powdery, but very, very fruity, citrus, and I love wearing this one. This is one of my favorites from this house, and definitely always love to talk about it. And then last but not least, from number 2 brand at ZGO Perfumery, it's ACCENTO, this one right here. So this one is a unique fruity floral chypre fragrance with pineapple and things like that. It does go in the direction of Aventus a little bit, but it's definitely not Aventus. Whenever you see pineapple, it doesn't always mean it smells like Aventus. Anyway, that's my 3rd favorite from XERJOFF that ZGO carries. And last but not least, my number 1 favorite, can you guess? Maison Francis Kurkdjian. I love this house. I really, really love this house. I just love everything about the house, and my latest obsession is Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait. So good. This is actually so good. I mean, there was a time I hated this, and I used to tell you guys, and you guys were like, you got to check out Baccarat Rouge, you got to check out. I hated Baccarat Rouge for the longest time, but maybe my nose got used to it. But sometimes you're not liking some things and you like them, and sometimes you like something and you stop liking it. So this one for me was a complete turnaround. I hated it and I'm back, and I love the Extrait version. So that's Maison Francis Kurkdjian Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait. This next one is AQUA VITAE Forte. I was going to list Grand Soir, guys. My bottle is not here, so sadly I'm not going to mention it, but I love Grand Soir. But I don't mention this one much. It's AQUA VITAE Forte. It's not AQUA Universalis Forte, that's coming up. But this one is a very floral, kind of a freshy and slightly musky. It has like, I think it has ylang ylang, but when you wear this one, it sweetens up on me, like vanillic notes come through, but it's kind of a not necessarily fresh, but it's a freshie, if that makes sense. But wonderful release. AQUA VITAE Forte, and then AQUA Universalis Forte. This is phenomenal. It's a very lemony, musky, laundry clean kind of a fresh smell, long lasting, and I love that about it. You know, I've never worn the originals. I've always gone with the Fortes, the 2 Fortes, because I feel like I want the strength. The originals might seem to be a little lighter. Anyway, those are my 5 favorite brands that ZGO Perfumery carries, and they're ranked in my favorites, you know, my least to to most favorite. And again, I'm not trying to diss any of these brands. They're all great brands. It's just certain brands I like a little more than others. But then I love all the fragrances that I mentioned to you today. And also, I'm definitely interested in exploring Abel further. And this gray Labdanum is an awesome Labdanum. It really does remind me of the smell of the plant itself, the Cistus Labdanum. And here it's very, very green and forest-like, really like pungent with the green forest-like smells and ambery touches. The patchouli is really strong here, and I feel like there's some other green notes thrown in. But wonderful release here. I'm glad to explore this house even further and check out some of their other fragrances, and hopefully you guys know. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching this video today. Do you know any of these houses that I spoke about, especially Abel or Abel? I've never spoken about that house, and hopefully I'll be able to do a full review of Grey Labdanum. If you're interested in a full review, do let me know so that I can prep for that or plan for that. And again, if you are looking for perfumes to buy, go check out ZGO Perfumery. I have a link in the info box, and if you end up buying anything, make sure to use my discount code. It's Perfume Guide 20, and that'll save you 20% off. Just keep in mind that some of the brands are not on there, but everyone that I've spoken about today is discountable. Okay, last but not least, we're doing a giveaway of discovery set of Abel fragrances. Please let me know which new fragrance house you are interested in checking out that you've never checked out before. Just any random house that you're very curious about. It doesn't have to be any of these, it could be any of these. And also let me know what you liked about this review. Please put your state so that you can qualify. Other than that, good luck with the giveaway, guys. Hopefully, once this pandemic is over and you guys are visiting San Francisco, you can also take a visit to ZGO Perfumery, as they do carry some wonderful fragrances and other goodies. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.